And so today I'm going to kind of walk through a simple example of going from NetSuite to Shopify and making a simple buffer stock calculation. And there's a lot of different ways you can basically create this formula. I've created kind of the most simplistic form of it right now, but I'll kind of discuss some of the other options as well. And some of these I've done in the past too. So in this example, I'm just using the NetSuite to Shopify IA here. And this is our pre-built integration app with Celigo, where we're syncing over inventory from NetSuite to Shopify. And with this, you get a NetSuite Save Search installed in your NetSuite environment. If I go here and edit the Save Search, you can see on the output of the Save Search, I've got two different fields. One being this quantity field, and this has no calculation against it other than putting 0 in if it's null. And then this other one, I've got a reduction in the quantity by this buffer stock field. And this buffer stock field I have sitting on the item level. And so this is where you've got a few different ways you can do this. So in this example, I have a custom field over on my item, and it's just Shopify buffer quantity. And what this does is I've specified 10 here, and then on my output of my save search, you can see my quantity is reduced by 10. So quantity with buffer is 960, and then quantity without buffer is 970. And that's just a simple example of having a buffer quantity on the item level. There's other examples where maybe you actually want it on the location level. So maybe some locations are, they keep better inventory than others. Maybe it gets a different buffer stock, so you create a custom field on that location level. Maybe you have it by sales channel. So maybe like Amazon, for example, maybe your buffer stock for that sales channel is 10, but for, let's say, your own website, maybe it's 0. Because your own website, you don't get dinged to potentially get kicked off of your own website like you could for Amazon for overselling. And then there's a lot of other methods to do it. You could do it based off of like velocity of the item moving. So if that item sells typically, maybe 50 per day on Amazon, but maybe only 5 per day on your own website, you could have some of these custom fields update once a day based off of the velocity of that particular item. That way it's always dynamic. And then lastly, there are kind of thresholds you can put in place as well. So let's say you're getting to like a low quantity of a particular item and you really want to get rid of all of that item. Maybe you have like a to be discontinued field, or this item's no longer going to be available, so you don't order it anymore. In those cases, in your formula field, you can put something like, when quantity is less than 10, then give the 10, or when the quantity or when that item is to be discontinued, then don't use this calculation at all and just send the full quantity of that item. That way you sell through the entire thing without having these onesie twosie quantities going on, where you always have this buffer. So there's just a few options. And so in this example, what I've done is put this buffer quantity. I would actually overwrite the main quantity field with this calculation, and then just save and you're good to go. The Shopify integration app here is already mapped to this quantity field to go to the available field in Shopify. So for this particular example, that's all you would need to do. And that's if you want to keep it in NetSuite. So there are other scenarios where maybe you actually want the buffer and safety stock calculation to be in Celigo itself. So let's say you have like a custom flow or a platform flow here going to Shopify or your own website. There you can create a transformation or use like our lookup cache or a lookup table, for example, to look up that item's buffer stock and then perform the calculation directly here within Celigo within handlebar expressions. So those are just a few different examples. Hopefully that was helpful, and I'll see you guys on the next one.